Good afternoon, everyone. Brad Borkus here, Epitome Coaching and Consulting. And today on our Quick Five, we're going to talk about continual or constant personal and professional growth, and how I basically said it's BS. It constant personal growth doesn't happen, right? And not that it's never happened, but for the most part, I think we're going to say it doesn't happen. And let me give you an example. So for myself, I work a lot on personal growth. I seek opportunities to grow, and I work from my craft, from my personal development side, from understanding my personality better, understanding the impact that I have in the world, getting the feedback back on that. But there's times that I'm just overwhelmed. Right now, I've got a 1-year-old and a soon to be 3-year-old, soon to be 1, soon to be 3-year-old. In the house. My wife and I are just, up to here trying to catch everything, make everything work. I've got clients I'm serving, right? And there's times right now like I just survival. Like I'm trying to get to workouts. I went to a workout this morning. Last week I went to 0. The week before, I think I went to 2. I had to take the wins that you get. There are times where it's not about personal growth, survival. And, as long as, survival is the new growth, we're good. But what we're really looking at here is that there's times where survival is the growth. And that's okay. Now, what we want to be cautious of and aware of and reflect back to ourselves is, am I getting stuck in a cycle of survival? That's the problem. Is that once that becomes your norm, then stepping outside of that becomes more and more difficult. So there's times that there's so much going on, employees quitting, business takes off, seasonalities that show up where I just cannot do personal growth. I cannot do professional growth. I can survive. And sometimes that's enough. But don't get caught there. Acknowledge that that's a season and know that that season needs to come to an end, and then be okay with it. Forgive yourself for it. Don't judge yourself for it. Know that that's the season you're in. And that season, it can happen. It can be weeks, months, quarters, right? If it starts going beyond a year, there's some concern there, right? There's definitely some significant concern there. Even beyond a couple quarters, you might need to reach out for some help. And that's the difficult part is, one, we all kind of recognize sometimes when shit's not going well, but it's tougher to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I can't get out of this myself, because if we're producers, if we're doers, if we're creators, we put that on our shoulders to create and do and pull others through, and know that you need to reach out. I reach out. I've got my coach. I've got counselors. I've got people that I reach out to say, hey, I need some help here. I'm not getting out of this cycle myself. Even in the form of personal trainers from athletic or from the training standpoint. That stuff's out there, and it's a challenge and a courage that's taken to step out of that. And so if you happen to be in a survival mode right now, and that's okay. It's also okay to get coaching through a survival mode, right? To get the reflections back so you can kind of process through that stuff a little easier. That conversation with somebody who's been through that or who has the experience to say, yeah, this might be causing some more survival. This might be causing more stress that's keeping you in survival. It's going to allow you to release out of that sooner. And that's really what coaching is about, and even consulting, but is to allow us to process through the things we're going to process faster and get to that next level faster. When I coach people on business, I'm not teaching them how to business. If they don't know how to business, they're not reaching out to the wrong person. This is a process of coaching through this. So know if you are in that space, know there's a season, look at ending that season if you need to, or when that might be, and reach out to make some commitments or reach out to ask for some help. And so if you ever need anything, you can always go to callwithbrad.com. I'm more than happy to give, free support, and that's my 5 minutes. So you all have an amazing day. I'll talk to you all soon. All right, bye-bye.
Remember, action is what makes this information all worth it. If you need help figuring out what that action is, go to callwithbrad.com and we'll get some clarity and help you figure out what that should be.